All right, let's start it from the top. All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Thursday evening. Another edition of KFTV's Postgame Live presented by Underdog Fantasy. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use our code KFTV for an instant deposit match of up to $100. The Knicks were back in action after a tough loss in South Beach. And today, Knicks Nation was rocked by the tough loss of one Julius Randle to the shoulder surgery. But tonight, they had a dogfight on their hands. You had a hot Sacramento Kings team coming in trying to fight for their lives in the West, and they would put the Knicks on the brink early, man. The Kings backcourt of Fox, Ellis, Davion Mitchell absolutely cooked the Knicks, and before you knew it, this Knicks team found themselves in a 20-point hole early. A lot of moaning and groaning at Madison Square Garden, but it was a tale of two halves because the Nova boys, Hart, the deuce was loose. Even Bogey off the bench. This Knicks team would not be denied, baby. It is not over. Do not bail on the season. The Knicks is still in this thing, man. 120 to 109. Knicks beat the Kings. And get back on track, man. Get back on track. CP the Fanchise, Alex Trataros on the ones and twos. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. It is not over. Do not bail. This squad is still alive, man. We lost Julius. We lost 30. We still in it, man. Tough news today, but if there was ever a game to show you how this Knicks team needs to play going forward, it was tonight. With this Kings team all but sellout blitzing on Jalen Brunson, it was going to be up to your supporting cast to make plays and knock down shots. And this is what this Knicks team was able to do in the second half. They were able to weather the storm. This Kings really took it to them on both ends of the floor in the first half. As I said in the opener, the Kings guards were having their way. Kings were running several actions, several screens coming from all different directions, really confusing the Knicks on the defensive end. And the guards were executing defensively. As I said, the Kings trapping Brunson on those pick and rolls. Knicks finding a hard time cracking the code. But in the second half, the main broke, and they got the job done, man. Absolutely dominant offensive execution in the second half, bro.
Yeah, you got to give this team a lot of credit because it comes with a lot of heart, man, in order to come back being down 20-plus points and then say, you know what, we ain't going out like no punks, because that's what the New York Knicks were tonight, man. They were valiant in their effort. I loved everything about it. I mean, this is why we love this team, right? You don't have Julius. You don't have OG. Even parts of the season, you don't have Mitchell Robinson, even though he's back tonight, still getting his legs under him. But these guys still have a fight in them, CP. And that's what you got to love about this team. I mean, the fact that you had Jalen Brunson starting to get into gear in that second quarter with Josh Hart. You saw Josh Hart had double-digit points early in this game, and it's like it felt like he was on a night. This was going to be his night in order for him to go ballistic as he did, because while they're doubling Jalen, it's just leaving the lane wide open for Josh Hart to cut like a Thanksgiving Day turkey. So that's what Josh Hart did, man. And then, what do you have, 30 points? Man had 31 points tonight. I've never seen Josh Hart score 31 points to go with Brunson's 35 and 21 from Dante DiVincenzo. As you said, it was the Nova boys tonight. But this was a great effort, man. You had Deuce McBride, who was also struggling in that first half. Third quarter was critical for us because we needed guys like Dante and McBride to knock down some threes. You get a little bit of bogey as well, as you said. With those guys scoring, it was able to help Brunson tonight and just get this team back on track, man. And with the news now that Julius is not going to be playing for the rest of the season, won't be here for the postseason, you're going to need efforts like this on a night-to-night basis. But we also can't just overshine the defense that this team just played too, CP, because 35 points from the Kings in the first quarter, 25 in the second half. I mean, they just shut them down, especially in the fourth quarter, to stop them at 22 points. For them to get 33, outscoring them by 11 points. This Knicks team was on one defensively too, so got to give them credit there.
Big facts, big facts, and one thing that that kept this Knicks team in the game was the Kings' turnovers. Kings are 15th in the league in turnovers per game at around 13. Tonight they had 16, but the Knicks were able to capitalize with 26 points off of those turnovers, and especially in the third quarter, they were very opportunistic. They were hungry. I mean, you had guys just ripping the rock out of King's hands, like Sabonis getting the rock taken out of his hands. Josh Hart was just a devil on both ends of the floor. So that was just a great job by the Knicks defense. You know, between Hartenstein, Hart, I thought Mitch gave a good effort. I thought Precious got a little bit overwhelmed early in the first half with Sabonis, so Thibs made a good counter there. This is where your center depth comes into play, your big man depth comes into play. Thought Mitch did a better job there. They were able to get them on the boards and get out in transition. Most importantly, man, get out in transition. And that is where, you know, Hart is so important for this team. Because I talked about it after the Heat game. And I was saying, you know, without Julius, you have to create engines using other players, right? You're never going to be able to replicate his all-star performance or his all-star numbers, but you still need guys that are going to be able to either get easy shots for themselves or get easy looks for other people. And that's what Josh Hart can do. And tonight he was great, man, not just in transition, but the adjustment that Thibs made in running the offense through both Hart and Hart through the middle, off the Brunson traps. That was it. Now you're playing 4-on-3 basketball. You have guys that can get to the bucket easily, like Josh Hart, using his physicality, using his athleticism, or now we can find the big Ragu on the wing. Now you can find McBride on the wing. You got your three-point shooters out there, and that's what the Knicks were able to do, man. The offensive execution was so on point in the second half. That was the key, man. Josh Hart.
For sure. For sure. And, you know, with Julius being out, you got to figure out how to use each guy's strength, which in some sort of way, you think about it, it's like Captain Planet, man. You know how all the rings together bring Captain Planet out?
Yeah. It's a good reference.
This is kind of the similar thing you're going to have. Josh Hart being a guy that can get downhill, similar to what Julius can do. Julius has improved as a passer. You get that from Hartenstein. 3-point shooting here or there, you get that from McBride. It's like the separation of powers at this point, right? So you're going to need to use all those key elements from every guy, that being McBride, Hart, Hartenstein, for this team to keep moving. And the way that you saw that they were really executing at a high level tonight, CP, was the assist numbers. The Knicks are not a good assist team.
Yeah.
And typically, you know, assist numbers can be a little wonky because just because a team passes the ball well doesn't mean they're necessarily passing with a purpose. But tonight, you could see that this team was passing with a purpose because they're looking for guys who are either open on the perimeter, as you're talking about, or you're looking for guys who are cutting and getting easy looks. I mean, how about finding McBride just cutting baseline and just getting an easy floater around the rim, or, you know, just kicking out to Dante or McBride in transition from Josh Hart just to get open threes, whether or not they were hitting or not. It's stuff like that you're going to need to do as a team. You have to play as a collective since you don't have Julius, because everyone could just hone in on Brunson. We saw that against Miami, right? Yeah. We saw that when you just keep the offense to let Brunson cook, a good coach, a good team can stop that game plan easily, as we saw with the Miami Heat. Tonight, Kings, not necessarily as good as a defensive team as the Heat, but the fact that you could get into rhythm and allow other guys to shine using their strengths, that's what this team's going to need to do moving forward. And it's just great to see them do it tonight, man. Let's see if they can continue to do this. You got the Bulls tomorrow night. You're gonna have the Bucks on Sunday. You got the Celtics on Thursday this next week. Yeah. This is the time now, because even though you're not gonna have Julius, championship expectations, I know a lot of fans had that. I still want to play. You know, let's play. What is it? What's that? What's the terminology called? Let's play upset alert, man. Let the Knicks be that team like the Miami Heat last year and go into the playoffs and just cause some upsets, man. Be that. Do that.
Listen, anything is possible, man. Anything is possible. I think the advantages that this team has is obviously the Brunson factor, but they still have the ability to play great defense. They're still a good rebounding team. And they can still get you with the hustle stats. You know, those things can keep you in the game. especially in the playoffs, where you just got to get it out the mud sometimes and keep it close. You keep it close. They have the firepower, right? Like they still have elements, but you have to have these great games. You have to have a confident, spirited, energetic game from Josh Hart, because when you're able to break those traps with Josh Hart, with Hartenstein, the two guys, they can get you teardrops, they can pass out of that, then you're going to have to respect that at some point and reset here. And then that's when you get Captain Clutch in isolation offense, and now you got to pick your poison. And I thought that's what happened even near down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Then Brunson starts going. So after a while, it just compounded issues for the Kings. They just couldn't stop the bleeding.
Yeah, they couldn't stop the bleeding. Well, once again, like they're not the defense I really want to say. Let's measure how good this Knicks offense could be in the playoffs. Okay.
Yeah.
But the fact, like, it just comes down to execution. And tonight, you got to give it a 9 out of 10. It wasn't the most perfect game, but you got to give it a 9 out of 10, in my opinion, for just how they executed tonight and just getting the Rock to where it needed to go. I think the big thing, though, another big thing for me, CP, from this game, because you see that this team, right, without Julius, who's a solid defensive rebounder, you really got to hustle. And the Kings, who are a good rebounding team, like, we didn't outbeat them. Like, it was 39-35.
Yeah.
But I just thought the thing that shined was just the hustle when it came down to critical possessions, right?
Yeah.
And that's another aspect of this game, because you can out-rebound teams that we've seen. The Knicks have out-rebounded teams, but you can still lose a close one because it comes down to fourth quarter execution. Do you have that energy still? Do you have that drive to go get that rebound, secure possessions, and limit opponents from being able to get some points on the board? And I thought the Knicks were doing an excellent job at that as well, late into this game. I mean, you're stopping De'Aaron Fox, you're stopping Sabonis. You're able to then just stop Keegan Murray from continuing to shoot the ball well tonight. So I thought the hustle play when it came to defensive rebounding was also there tonight, which is going to need to continue moving forward.
Big time. And it's funny how things kind of broke open, in particular later in the third and then through the fourth, because it just seemed like at many times, whether it was after a 14-2 Knick run in the second quarter or when they started making their attack in the third, it seemed like the Kings had an answer for everything, right? Like the Knicks would make their run, and then one bad three would lead to like the Kings' fast break three or a transition bucket. Like they just always seem to be in the right place and get those broken play opportunities. Trey Lyles had a few of those. Keegan Murray had a ton of those for the Kings. So at some point, it was like, damn, man, like these guys just keep on coming. But ultimately, the Knicks got their breakthrough, and that was a good sign for them, because I thought Kings really played a good game on both ends for the better part of three quarters. And at sometimes, especially against the Knicks starters, you saw where the Kings' height was able to take advantage of the Knicks by guys just shooting right over guys. I mean, sometimes you have McBride guarding Trey Lyles sometimes out there, or even a Keegan Murray. So, the Kings were able to get easy shots and good looks just by their sheer height. And then on top of that, I thought Fox was sensational. Like, Deuce did what he could, but that was just all-star level play by De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to stop De'Aaron Fox. I mean, he should have been an all-star this year. 29 points for him. He went 6 of 13 from downtown. He's really improved as a three-point shooter. Got you 7 rebounds, 7 assists. I mean, his quickness is just, it's tough, man. And it felt like he really could have, like, I know he's playing the point guard position, so he wants to make sure that other guys were involved, but parts of this game, like, he just got down the lane with such ease that you figured that he could have really just taken over this entire game and continued to score and really put the Knicks in a hole, because he has such elite speed and quickness that no one can really keep up with him. I mean, McBride did the best that he could, but it's De'Aaron Fox at the end of the day. He, like, if you're looking at that gauge on 2K, it's 99, right?
Yeah.
There's very few people who have a 99 speed in this league. So the fact that even Deuce was able to just, force him to go 11 to 26 from the field, that's very respectable, even though Fox ended up with 29 points.
Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP the Fanchise, Alex Trataros on the ones and twos. Knicks Nation, let us know you in here, man. How you guys feeling in the chat? All my Fanchise channel members in here. Throw an emoji in the chat. Let us know that you're in here with us. We just got Marvin Nicholas just joined the Fanchise channel member. So salute to Marvin Nicholas. Salute to Jay Oliver. $10 super chat from Andrew B. Litz. Says JB, Josh, and Devo need to retire in orange and blue as NBA champions. Never to don another jersey. All grit. Let's go, Knicks. Ari from Taiwan with the 300 Taiwanese. I'm not sure what their currency is called. But he says, excellence of execution, Hart Foundation. Great reference. Respect to KFTV family for everything. We are built for this. Let's
the
go,
new
Al.
Taiwan dollar.
There you go. There you go, man. How'd you know that? Your geography is on point, man. Your social studies is on point, bro.
Hey, man. I was a history major in college.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a nice flex, man. That's a nice flex. For you people that want to call in, the phones are down. So Discord only tonight. Discord only tonight for people that want to call in. And let's kick it off. OS Jedi on the Discord. Let's go. I'll mute your mic.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Eric from Brooklyn, the one-armed man.
Yes, sir.
So I want to bring up a couple of points. January, the Knicks went 9-2. Randall got injured on January 27th.
Mm-hmm.
Then in February, we went 4-8. Sucked. March, we went 9-5. There's a clear difference that Thibs has understood what our offense should be without Randall. Do I think it's perfect? No. OG comes back. We're going to be a lot better, but not in a perfect position. Mm-hmm. I still think we can make a deep run. Are we going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? I don't know. It's a tough road.
Mm-hmm.
If we're lucky, we can get there. As far as tonight's game, spectacular. I think that the last two games from Knicks got robbed. This was probably as best as we can do as a team.
Okay, I appreciate the call, man. His sound was kind of robotic. It was kind of almost like a Darth Vader type sound. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it sounded like he was coming from outer space.
Yeah.
Like, I'm phoning in. I come in peace. Let me talk about the Knicks real quick.
Yeah. No, but shout out to him. Good call. And yeah, look, I think just depending on the matchup and how they get through these final 6 games, it's gonna be a dogfight. Next 4 on the road. Okay, they can't afford to take a breather. But I think, yes, the Randall news was terrible, but the OG news was encouraging that he's pretty much cleared, but they're just being more cautious, especially with what's happened with Julius Randle. So seems like OG, again, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a game 1 start rather than throw him in here. But let's see, because as a jockey for position here, you may need to throw him in there a little earlier just to solidify a spot and avoid a potential plane. They're not too far from that.
For sure. I mean, I think he's about like, I think based on what we're reading and whatever was been reporting, it seems like he's like 85, 90% there to come back and start playing. It's just, he came back, got hurt, had to miss some time, and he's a true plug-and-play player. So there's no need to rush him back. If you can hold off and maintain positioning in the East, right? I get your point. Like, hey, if we're about to be at the play-in, which if that's the case, that's going to be tough news for the Knicks.
Yeah.
I hopefully they have to miss that because that's going to be tough. But if they can do that, say top 6 without having OG Anunoby return, that's fine. Have him start, game 1 of the playoffs. That's no worry whatsoever.
Yeah.
But CP, do you see him? Because it was said that he wants to get like a few games back before the playoffs just to get in the rhythm. Do you think they should even do that? Because I don't know, man. Like the whole Julius Randle thing, I'm sure we're going to talk about it. I feel like you got to be more on the conservative side with these players, considering that Mitch came back, rolled his ankle, OG came back, aggravated his elbow. You had Julius talking about that he did contact practice with pads and then aggravated his shoulder again. So it just seems like this organization should be very conservative when it comes to these players and make sure that they're ready to go for the postseason.
Yeah, for sure, man. Look, I wouldn't be mad if he just showed up April 20th and was ready to go, because we just got to keep these guys as fresh as possible. But, with 3 games against the Bulls, who probably have something to play for here. I mean, let's take a look at the standings. Miami did lose tonight to Philly. Philly was able to close out a close one down there in Miami. So Philly's up on the 8th seed. Well, Bulls really can't move anywhere, I guess. But you got the Hawks right behind them. Hawks are a half game behind the Bulls for 9 and 10 for the play-in spot. So, yeah, you got 3 against the Bulls, 2 of them on the road, and then 1. You sandwich a Milwaukee game in between. It's a tough 3-game trip right there.
Bucks and Celtics. That's tough to wait. That's a tough way to end the season. But
yeah.
I don't know. Just rest OG. Just rest. We can't lose anybody else, man. I mean, it's just at that point we can't.
Yeah. Shout out to Raymond Calderon out, $10 super chat to CP Ray from Miami here. Great meeting you at the Black Market Bayside. This win tonight showed the league we're not giving up on the season without a fight. Big win. Shout out CP Alex, OD1, Brooklyn Vega. Salute, man. Raymond Calderon. Salute to everybody who pulled up to the Black Market out there in Miami. We definitely shut it down. Didn't get the win, but it was a big win for KFTV, man. Great meetup and a great event for the pregame happy hour. Everybody shouted you out, man.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate
everybody
that.
shouted you out.
Tell us about the time, CP, since you were down there. We couldn't.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to go live outside the arena. You were keeping us in suspense.
I didn't. The Wi-Fi situation was a little tricky, and then it got a little late, so kind of got lost track of time, if you will. But no,
it is Miami.
It is Miami. So, pre.
You didn't want to go live from Live? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, I say that to say pregame was very fun. You know what I'm saying? We got it in happy hour style. And so, as the night wore on, I probably wasn't in the best shape to produce a live stream after a loss like that. It wouldn't have been a family show, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been a family show. So I erred on the side of caution. I let you and Jeff take the wheel as a designated drivers for the night and run a successful postgame show.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But man, I was interested to see what you had to say from South Beach, Maybe you could next time you're down there just go live from Live. All right. We could see you sitting next to J. Cole and Elite and everybody out there, hanging out with those guys. Shout out to Elite. Maybe you'll bring Chuck D down there, too, to go to Club Live. Who knows, man?
Yeah, the rhyme animal was. When I touched down, he called me. He was trying to make it down. He was trying to make it down, but he couldn't. But, shout out my OG Juan and Rebecca, man. They were great hosts for us there at the Casilla Center in Miami. We did it up. Had a great couple days, just quick 2-day trip, business trip. And yeah, man, they were great hosts. Like I said, everybody came out to Black Market. It was a vibe. And yeah, that's just what we do, man. City to city. Just a lot of love for KFTV, man. Knicks fans worldwide,
For sure. Did you bring me back a souvenir at least?
No. I did not. I did not. For next time, man. I got you.
Damn.
I got you, man. Let's go to Discord. Carlo, I'll mute your mic.
Hello?
Hey, how are you, man?
Kumusta kayo, CP and Alex?
Good, man. How you feeling, bro?
First of all, this win is for Julius.
Yeah.
I hate the Heat with all my heart.
Mm-hmm.
We will surely miss Julius in the playoffs. We may not have our Goku in Julius, but we're still waiting on our Vegeta in OG. And clearly, Josh Hart understood the next man up mentality, and he didn't fail us.
Yeah.
Is Josh Hart eligible to win the Sixth Man of the Year? I don't have the stats on how many times he started or came off the bench.
Way more.
But he should win it for holding it down for us. For Julius, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And just lastly, just a rapid fire comment. The Sacramento coaches challenge in the fourth should be Knicks ball. It was deflection by Lyles, but it was but given that it was decided to be Sacramento possession, why did the refs give too much time for the Kings to challenge that call? It's quite obvious that the refs are hating on us.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Appreciate it, Carlos, man.
Refs are in their bags.
They're in their bag.
Did you see the one how I think it was Murray that damn near tackled Isaiah Hartenstein and right in front of the ref's face and no whistle.
Raked him. Raked.
Like, what are we doing out here?
I couldn't believe it, man. But we got it back. Knicks got a lot of calls. Josh Hart got a lot of N1s there in crunch time. I mean, they got the job done, man. Got to the free throw line when they needed to, and got the calls. But listen, somebody was saying that on Twitter, and was like, man, what's up with Brunson? He's still not getting calls. I said, listen, welcome to the playoffs, man. It's not going to get any easier. So we might as well get used to it now and adjust. It's not going to change. It might get even worse.
Yeah, I mean, tonight he got 10. He got 10 shots from the free throw line. So
yeah,
that's nice. That's more than his average. He's averaging about 6 per game. But I mean, I don't necessarily want to see a lot of free throws in a game at all. So Jeff and I talked about this ad nauseum on last postgame, CP. It was like, I just want it to be called consistently. That's just the big issue, is that it's not called consistently. You'll see a guy that's just like, you could just breathe on somebody, that's a foul. Then Brunson, you could bring out a metal bat, swing it across his head, and it's like, nope, that's clean.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just the issue with the game. It's just call it evenly for both teams. If you can't do that, we got an issue here. So that's where it's like, that's why Thibs is going out there saying it's a foul, it's a foul, it's a foul, because Brunson is like, what you're calling for the other team should then be the same thing for him, and it's not.
Yeah.
And that's what Thibs and everybody else is seeing. So if the refs could just, I don't know, call it evenly, make it fair, that would be great. Outside of just like all these like makeup calls and all this other stupid, about to lose it. All this other stupid.
Tell him why you mad, man.
Just call it fair, man.
It's okay,
call
bro.
It fair.
This is Knicks therapy, man. Tell him why you mad, bro. Tell him
what grinds my gears. You really want to know what grinds my gears?
Here's our guy, Fred Katz. Salute to our guy, Fred Katz. He says, where am I? Hang on. Oh, I'm on the wrong Twitter. Hang on. I'm on the wrong page. I got all these pages up. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. CP and Alex on the ones and twos. Let me pull up the proper page here. Okay. Fred Katz. Josh Hart, who's playing through wrist pain on taking 0 threes tonight on the way to 31 points. Shooting the ball, I can't really get the ball to the basket from 3, so I just got to attack and take what the defense gives me. So there it is. He only took 3 shot attempts against Miami. Was seen wearing a wrap on his right wrist. So seems like, if he's saying he can't shoot, like physically, like pain, can't shoot, that sucks. But he found a way.
That sucks.
Yeah, no, that sucks. But he found a way. And for me, it wasn't just because fast break is like, that's his strength, right? That's where he excels. It was great to see him creating in the half court, because to me that is even more important, because they're not going to get that many fast break opportunities in playoff games. So for him to be able to keep the ball moving in the half court is critical, because if you have him, Jalen, and Hart being able to do that, it makes things a lot easier. Then you spray it out to Deuce, you spray it to DiVincenzo, you spray it to OG when he's back. You got your 3-point shooters out there in the wings. But you're going to need Hart to help supplement the creation that Julius was going to give you, even though Julius was going to do it in a different way. And he did that tonight. Great job.
For sure. And, I like the development of how he's working the half court by just driving and kicking, working the pick and roll, because we didn't really see that last year. He just joined, obviously, around the trade deadline, and then it was, fit where you can. Score in transition. If you can just kick out while you're in transition as well, that helps. If you can get downhill. But we've seen this development where now you get Josh Hart kind of getting those same plays that RJ Barrett was getting when he was here. The curls, being able to get to the mid-range shot and just putting up a shot around there, whether it be the foul line or a little bit further in. You're starting to see some floaters. You're starting to see him work the 2-man game with Hartenstein as well. And it's just, that's good to see, because as you mentioned, CP, like, you're going to need some more diversity outside of Jalen Brunson to be that sole initiator, that sole creator.
Yeah.
So if you get Josh Hart, who can just be that secondary engine, and this is what you want to see from Dante as well. And that's really the collective that's been doing it. It's all those, it's that Nova trio that's trying to create for themselves, trying to create for others. Obviously, Brunson just does it at a higher level and is much more efficient and is much more lethal from all three levels as a scorer. But if you can get that from all those guys who can just supplement along the way, it just comes down to consistency with them, man.
Yeah.
Do you believe that they could be consistent enough to do this in a 7-game series, say against Orlando or Indiana? Like, what's the matchup that you'd see from Hart? What's the matchup do you need to see for Hart to continue what he did tonight?
I would say definitely Indiana. Orlando really depends on who he's matched up with. You know, their defensive strength certainly comes from their guards, their smaller guards. You know, is there a matchup there? Is it like, you know, is like an Isaac a guy that can neutralize a Hart potentially? Or is Paolo drawing some of that assignment? Have to see how they match up the next time around, if they do match up. I mean, if the playoffs ended today, they would be. So, but against an Indiana where you would have that physical advantage, to me, that's a one-up for Hart. Against Cleveland, you could have that as well.
Yeah, I like that matchup too.
He showed you that in last year, the first round, right?
He showed you that this year without Jalen Brunson.
So it shows you that this year without Jalen Brunson. So those matchups, I think he can certainly win. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned Ragu because I said it after the Heat game because I got into it with I forget the fan's name on Twitter because I said, look, you know, the issue with Dante is that he's a good shooter. But he's not an engine. He's not a shot creator like that. He's more of a finisher. He's a guy that you need to find in rhythm. And the guy was like, what do you mean, CP? You had 30 points. You shot 40% from three. You this and 30. I said, he may not get those in the playoffs. So that is why, like, you need other engines outside of Brunson. That's why Hart is so critical. That's why even iHeart, you know, running those plays through the post through iHeart, opened so many things up. Look how many backdoor cuts that they were able to get out of that. Or running give and goes with Brunson and iHeart. Like, that's vital.
For sure. The thing, CP, is that you're going to need another guy out there who can just shoot the 3-ball consistently, and that's where OG Anunoby comes in, and that's why for him, you know, it'd be nice, obviously. I know people want to see him get back and get a few games before the playoffs, but once he gets back on the court, if he could knock down the 3-ball that he was prior to re-aggravating that elbow, like to have him, Dante, McBride now, Bogdanovic is decided to come alive, you know, resurrected from the dead, come in from the ashes like a phoenix. Like you get some of that.
Yeah.
Like then you can say, all right, we got something over here because even if it's just simple stuff, even if it's just like a simple drive and kick, that impacts a defense, even in the half court. So I think if you get OG back, just another 3-point shooter, that's always been the Achilles heel of the New York Knicks is lack of 3-point shooting, because if Hart is going to have this wrist injury for however long, we don't know, right? That's news to us.
Yeah.
This is news to us. If he's not going to be able to shoot the 3-ball well, and we saw what happened last year in the playoffs, you can just, you know, phase him out of all half court. If he can do that and just kick out to a 3-point shooter, that's going to be impactful for this team.
Got to bend the defense somehow. Got to bend the defense. Mike from Michigan. Mike, let's go.
Yo, what's up? Y'all can hear me?
Loud and clear, man. How you feeling, man?
Good. CP Alex, man. Good to hear from you all again. 2 quick points. My first one, and I'll pick up right where Alex left off. I love what I'm seeing from Bogey. I feel like we got to, particularly looking toward the playoffs, we got to find more minutes for him, I think, to play with Jalen, particularly if teams are going to be, I don't think they're going to be as, you know, wild as Sacramento was with the double team, like as soon as he crossed half court doubling him. But if he's going to see more physical D and all that, and having Devo and Bogey out there as shooters, plus with OG back, that can help with the defense or whatever. I just love to see that more. I don't know if Thibs would start him. I would kind of love to see him start. But
you can't start him. You can't start him.
I think you know, he's going to keep Hart in the lineup, and that's cool. But
no way.
Just got to find more minutes for him with him. The second point, and again, I know back on the theme, playoff basketball coming up, physical defense. My thing with the hand checking with Jalen, because I mean, obviously we grew up with the hand check. That's what I grew up watching, but that's allegedly not legal defense anymore. But you know, it's one thing if it's Drew Holiday out there or some defender that has a lot of respect, but this dude from the Kings, who, I mean, he hit a few threes at the beginning of the game. I don't even know who he is.
Yeah, Keon Ellis.
Like
Keon Ellis was going for revenge tonight.
Yeah, bro. But it's like every other play
Brunson
he's
left
pushing them.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And it's just like, and that's happening on a night in, night out basis. The same blueprint. It's you know, a bigger wing, getting physical with them, dudes that don't really even have that respect as a defender. And it's like something's got to give. Either a hand check's a foul or it's not. And I know they're not going to call it every time, but you know, I think, you know, Thibs boiled over because you get sick of seeing that every night. And so, you know, obviously it's the playoffs. You got to strap up and deal with it. But at the same time, it's like, is a foul still a foul? You know, they got to figure that out. But appreciate y'all. And, you know, thanks for hearing me out.
Appreciate the call, man. Mike from Michigan on the check-in. Yeah, you can't start Bogey, man.
Why not, CB? The people in the chat want to know.
You can't start him, bro. He has to be situational, instant offense. Situational. He did a good job. Those non-Brunson minutes in the fourth. He did a good job. He had like 4 points in that stretch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at that. But it's got to be situational because you saw at moments, especially in the second quarter, it was like, all right, he scored a couple, and then right on the next end, you know, he's got Trey Lyles going at him, or he's got somebody else going at him, or he's giving up a turnover. It's tricky. He becomes a defensive liability if you're going to put him out there.
5 points in the fourth quarter for Bogdanovic.
Yeah.
Went 2 of 3. Very impactful in those 2 minutes and 42 seconds while Brunson was off the court. And then you saw that Brunson entered the game with about like 8:40 left. So, you know, it's just the way he played was against the Heat. That's really how you need him to play.
Yeah.
But the encouraging thing, CP, about Bogdanovic is that it looks like he's starting to get into rhythm.
Yeah.
And defensively, that would be my biggest concern why you don't start him, because he's just like, I'll go through what everyone else provides. All right.
Yeah.
McBride, great perimeter defense, just is like glue on anybody who he's defending. Dante knows how to read the passing lanes. Josh Hart has the physicality. He may not be the most laterally quick guy out there, but he will consistently battle. Same thing with Isaiah Hartenstein, will consistently battle. Brunson, he gives you so much offensively and as a playmaker that obviously we don't need to say what he provides for this team. It's not close to what Bogdanovic can provide. Between everybody else, there's something defensively that they offer.
Yeah.
Bojan doesn't really offer anything defensively outside of height. And that you just can't throw that into a starting rotation and just hope that offensively he's going to be consistent enough, which he hasn't been. I mean, he's had 2 solid games, but it's not consistent enough to be warranting like, all right, we'll disregard your defensive liability because we can at least guarantee that you'll give us, I don't know, 15.
Yeah.
Like in like 20 minutes. He's not going to provide. I can't rely
for the
on
people that want him to start. Who are you starting him over? I mean, Mike from Michigan was talking about starting him over Josh Hart. I mean, Josh Hart played like Magic Johnson tonight. What are we talking about? You gonna start him over McBride right now?
No. There's nobody you're starting him over.
There's nobody you're starting him over. Salute to, we missed this one, man. Daily Show, $50 Super Chat Fanchise channel member, says, devastated by the loss of Julius. They needed his size in the playoffs. Thibs will always coach his way through the regular season, but size will be their downfall in the playoffs. No, I don't see it. I think size will be a plus for them. Size will be a plus for them. If you factor in Hartenstein, Hart, Mitch, OG if he's back. You got Precious you can throw out there. You have Sims you could even throw out there if you want to do that. Now, size at the guard spot, sure.
And wing.
You know, sure. Right. You know, like.
I mean, OG is the only legitimate wing.
He's the only legit wing you have. He's the only legit wing you have.
So at the 2-3 position, that's where we lack, but they got enough front court depth where they're fine.
Yeah, they're fine there. But surely the Julius thing will be a loss, and we'll talk a little more about that in a little bit. We'll keep the good vibes going for now, though. $5 super chat from Ray Danger Al says, seems to be a narrative that OG is a wuss and doesn't play through pain. Is he keeping himself out, or are the Knicks keeping him out? I mean, it's hard to say, man. You can't. Who are we to question the guy's, mentals or his toughness?
I don't consider him a wuss. The man couldn't bend his elbow.
Yeah.
Couldn't extend it.
Yeah.
What was it when he played against the Kings?
Yeah.
Like, he needs to be healthy. Otherwise, he's not a solid 3-point shooter as we need. So, is he the type of guy that likes to play at 100%? Yes. Does it make him a wuss? No. I mean, for what he is, he's a role player, and for him to be playing at his best, he needs to be healthy. There's just some players who are able to play through aches, pains, and injuries. He's not one of them, unfortunately. That's just been his career. But when he's out there on the court, I know you can call him a wuss. He's a dog.
You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. Just be healthy and be there for the team when they need him. I can't question it. But are the injuries a concern? Yeah, sure. Definitely a concern. But we'll see what happens when he gets back, man. South NJ Knicks fan. South NJ Knicks fan. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, fellas. Great game. I'm very hopeful, actually. Even though we lost Randall, for the season, I think moving forward, this team, to me, it's the way they're going to win series, the way they're going to continue to win games the rest of the season is basically just playing collectively with heart, tenacity, never giving up. I mean, they were down by 20. They could, a lot of teams would have just given up and said, okay, it's not our night.
Yeah.
But that's not the Knicks style, man. They're going to keep fighting without Randall. Once they get OG back, I think they're still going to be a very dangerous team. And the fact, I think teams may even underestimate them a little bit without Randall, and I think that's a good thing. And if we could really if we can get third, or even if we drop to 6, that's the best, because then we would avoid Boston in the second round. And I just want to hear you guys' thoughts on, like, what do you think going forward in terms of Randall is the plan? Like, are they going to try to maybe add something maybe to replace Randall, or are they going to let him actually heal up, or do you think that he could possibly get traded? And I'll take your thoughts on that.
All right, appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I got the breaking news. I was boarding a flight today. I got the breaking news. We had to do an emergency live stream from Fort Lauderdale Airport. Get the family together. I had people online as I'm boarding a plane. I'm breaking the news to them. I had dudes in front be like, "Yo, what?" I said, "Yeah, man, Randall's out of here, man." Had to break the news, man. But yeah, listen. When the news broke, was I surprised? No. You remember I was always saying to you, like, "Oh, this could be a first day of playoffs thing." But as the time kept stretching and he wasn't getting approved, cleared for contact, you had to figure something was wrong there. The Hart comments I thought was a little cryptic, even though I thought it was also a rallying cry, which is most people thought, but I thought it was cryptic. I thought he had kind of known something. Woj had kind of dropped a hint earlier this week or last week about Randall. And even if when you looked at him on the bench, you never saw that he was in good spirits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was tough, man. That was tough, but I wasn't too surprised. What was your reaction to it?
I wasn't surprised. That's why when we had the conversation, I was also saying, like, I'm tired of just hearing when everyone's healthy, because as time wore on, it's at some point you can't just live off of just optimism. You have to see what's actually occurring. You have to have news. And because everybody from Begley, Katz, Popper, Bondi, everyone was just saying no update on contact. You hear Thibs saying, he just has to keep working and seeing how he feels. And then you have Chris Haynes just kind of drop everything today, where it sounds like what we've been hearing, where, just he tried to play through contact with pads. And I think that the initial time Chris Haynes dropped that, it was like, you need to say pads, because now it's like, was Thibs lying that he wasn't cleared for contact, but it was contact with pads, which kind of figured that was going on just to see where he could go before true physical contact with, teammates. But the fact that he couldn't clear that, it was just an indication that it just take too long. I mean, I just want to say that it was just a little bit of reckless reporting to say that Randall should be back within weeks and not months in the initial onset when we got that report from Woj. Remember that? He said it would be back within weeks. They're hopeful that he'll be back within weeks and not months. And it was just, to me,
I think, didn't he say that they were hopeful? I don't think he reported it that way, because I don't think we ever got a clear timeline. That was another thing in the beginning.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's a little, I'm not saying him personally, but I'm just saying that to even put that out there, that because he's getting it from the Knicks. That's the only way he's reporting what the Knicks are telling him, right? Whatever Leon Rose and all them. So that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit of reckless reporting, not Woj. I'm saying for whoever the brass saying, hey, we expect him to be back within a few weeks and a few months. I think that's a little bit of like reckless in that sense, because it's giving like, it's just not giving time to get a full understanding of what's going on with the injury. But I do understand the other side of it, whereas some teams like to be cryptic and just play with the injury report and keep other teams guessing as to how they should move around the league. Because maybe, let's say you do hear that Julius is, out for the season, or is most likely contemplating surgery at that point. Eastern Conference opponents could be like, oh, well, now we know how to focus on the Knicks. We know what trades they're probably going to try to make. Maybe we can just make them overspend and stuff of that nature. So I can understand why you give some cryptic tweets or cryptic messagings about injury.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I feel like, because at the end of the day, it just seems like the entire team was just bought in, like, oh, he'll be back soon too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think as a team, like, even though you're playing in that mindset already, I feel like there should be some clarity, like how they should be preparing for the rest of the season.
I thought, to my knowledge, when that initial Woj thing came out, one of the things that was the first sign for me was that there wasn't a clear timetable. It was just like, Julius Randle separates his shoulder. He's going to get an MRI. He's out for the time being. But they never really gave you, like, he's out for 2 to 3 months for rehab. He's out for a couple weeks for rehab. It was all this speculation. And TM in the chat said the KFTV doctors gave him 4 weeks. It was remember that episode? I was like, yo, nobody call in. I don't want to hear no diagnosis, because we just don't know. But anyway.
Hey, man, I separated my shoulder playing pickup the other day.
Oh, my God.
Let me tell you how it's going to go down.
Yo, we must have got like 10 calls on that. But Chris Haynes of Bleacher Report, Yahoo Sports, spoke to Julius before the game, and Julius said he did everything in his power to play again this season. He re-aggravated or dislocated the shoulder again in the contact with pads session and was never able to recover. Woj also said that he went to 2 specialists, and they basically said, it's in the best interest to do the surgery now and not risk the re-injury and potential long-term effects on his shoulder. So, for the people that was like, why didn't he do it in the onset? Why didn't he do it? Why didn't he do it? He was trying to play through it. I got to give him credit for that. I have to think that whatever experts they went to, that was the first course of action, right? Let's try to rehab it, right? What happens when you have a minor tear or something like that, right? They say try physical therapy first, see if it works. If not, then do the surgery. So they were trying to put it off during a reasonable enough time where it was like, okay, at some point they're gonna have to make the decision. And today was the day.
For sure. My thing with, I guess where I want to go with this is that I just don't like how some fans are like, why didn't he do it earlier? And why, that's selfish and stuff of that nature. It's like the dude tried to come back and play. Like, we saw him practicing. There's enough clips out there, him putting up shots. He's not just doing that for the sake of doing that, right? And you got to commend him for wanting to come back and play because he wanted to complete the season. So the fact that he's now opting in for surgery, it's like, hey, it was in January. there's still a lot of basketball left at that point. We're talking about, what was it, like January 28th that happened?
Yeah.
So you have until April. Could he get back before then in order to make the postseason? That was the goal. Things changed. And it, as he said, it got more uncomfortable after going through contact with pads. So it was starting to feel good. Contact with pads happened. He went to go get it reevaluated. And the doctor's like, you should probably get surgery. And so now he's opting in for surgery. I don't know why we're making a big to-do about whether or not he should have gotten it then or whatnot, because he would not have been back for the season this time. I mean, in that tweet from Knicks PR, they said he will be reevaluated not 1, not 2, 5 months.
Yeah.
So you talk about January, we're talking about February, March, April, May, June. You'd have to hope the Knicks made the finals, and if you want to potentially see Julius.
Yeah.
So I don't. He was not going to make it this season. Now you could say, hey, maybe he would start at the beginning of next season. But maybe you could put it this way, CP. The fact that he's going to miss the beginning of next season, right? Most likely. Though, just from how it's saying 5 months. So 5 months from now, we talk April, May, June, July, August, September, October starts. You got to think that he's going to need a little bit more time because he's not going to be ready for October.
Yeah.
My thought process is, fine, miss the beginning of the season because as we've seen so far, this guy's a warrior and likes to play all 82 games if possible. The last 2 seasons, he just ran out of steam. His body ran out of steam towards the end. Let him start fresh from the halfway point so that way he's ready for next season, next postseason. That's how I look at it as. So I'm not upset that he wouldn't be starting the next season, but give this man time to rest.
Yeah, I'm not concerned that he's going to miss the start of the season. But you know what the caller's question was is what happens. Well, what's going to happen is he's going to be an improvement year next year because he's going to be able to opt out of that deal, and Knicks are going to have some decisions to make, and he's going to have to prove it because now this is going to be back-to-back playoffs where he's not going to be. He's not here now. He's not going to be at this one. The last one, he wasn't a factor. And this first one, he wasn't a factor. So what are they going to do? Is he going to opt out? Are they going to pay him? Are they going to trade him? There's going to be a lot of questions that this Knicks team is going to have to answer. Because if you trade him and you're not going to get equal to better value, then where's this thing going, right? Where is this thing going? Then you're going to have to pay OG, another guy with some injury history. Are you going to trade for Spider? Are you going to trade for? There's going to be a lot of question marks, man, for the offseason. Let's get to that point when we get there. But it's going to be a lot, man. There's going to be a lot of questions to be answered, man.
He had to prove it this postseason anyway, and then we'd have to go through the same question next year. Could he do it? Yeah. You know, I mean, regardless, he was going to have to do that. So that's not news. I mean, even the beginning of the season, CP were like, yeah, we're not worried about regular season. Even when he was slumping and fans were like, oh, we're worried. We're like, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna turn it around, and then turns it around. And what we always say, postseason. It's about the postseason. He has to perform in the postseason. That's the last thing he has to do. So I don't think the Knicks are going to trade him this offseason. I think that'd be a little premature based on what they saw in January. I think for this team, with all the draft capital that they have, I don't see why they would want to move in that direction to just trade Randle without seeing a full or like a good stint of he, OG, and Brunson at the helm from start to like finish or even postseason. I know you're playing in kind of limbo at that point because we're talking about a contract year essentially for Randle next year. But I just don't see why they would want to give up on that potential when it was looking so good and looking so dominant at that part of the season. Without, by the way, a full training camp.
Yeah, was looking very dominant, man. Omar from the Bronx. Omar, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Here.
Yep, loud and clear. How you doing, man?
What's going on? Good win, good win. Just to piggyback off what you guys were saying, like durability doesn't necessarily mean being out there and playing. Durability means being out there playing and playing effectively. And I think sometimes we get that confused with Randle. Like there's a lot of times, really these past couple postseason runs, where yeah, he's out there, but his injuries are affecting him. I mean, compare that to somebody like Jalen Brunson, who's fighting through a million different injuries, but it doesn't impact his play. Jimmy Butler last year in the series against us, I think it was game 3 or game 1, he rolled his ankle like completely mid game. He was hobbling, yet he was still able to be effective. So that's always been a question mark. I wasn't surprised with Randle being out for the season. You would have liked to see what that would look like if Randle was at full capacity. But if he was just going to come back and not be 100%, not play bully ball, and start jacking up long twos because he's not able to do it physically, it's better off without him. The offense flows better. OG, I think, is the more important piece because OG, even being out there at 70%, given his style of play and his impact to the team, that's still a value. Even if he's out there, he doesn't even touch the ball. His body's just out there. His presence, being able to disrupt passing lanes defensively, putting him on the other team's superstar, even if he's not 100%, that still helps this team kind of, have a higher ceiling. Last point, I think we'll have a better picture of this time next week because it'll be a little clearer where everybody else stands in the East. But the 3 seed and the 6 seed are the ones we really have to go for. Because if you're the 3 or you're the 6, you don't play the 1 seed second round.
Right.
Now, I know with this Randle injury, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We got to get past the first round. But 3 and 6 are the seeds we really have to lock into because, if it's the last game of the season and let's say we win that game with a 5th seed, we play Orlando. But if we lose it, we're the 6th seed and we end up playing Cleveland and we don't have to see Boston second round. That's something to kind of think about. So we'll have a clearer picture next week. It's kind of jumbled right now. But 3 and 6 are the magic seeds we want to kind of lock into.
All right, no doubt, man. Appreciate the call. Absolutely. Omar from the Bronx. Yeah, 2, 3, 6, 7. Those are the seeds to avoid Boston. But honestly, man, the way this season's going, if they even won a first-round series, it's a good season. They're having a good season, man. It's a good season at the end of the day. Yes, we want to keep it winning. Yes, they showed, that January was spectacular. And you saw the potential of what these 3 could do. I think winning a first-round series is still a success any way you slice it. So I'm not worried about, getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's going to be a tall order. Anything is possible. It's going to be a tall order. But if they win a first-round series, I'm good with it, man.
Play spoiler. I said, man, that's all you got to do. I mean, I'm not looking at, if they could, that's fantastic. This team is so close, CP. If the Knicks made an Eastern Conference Final, the way they're currently constructed, this team is much closer than we anticipated.
Yeah.
But I'm not expecting that. My expectations have dropped a little bit just because you don't have Randle. He's a guy that attracts double teams.
It has to, naturally.
Yeah. He's a guy that attracts double teams. If it's only Brunson out there, even with him against the Cavs, the reason that the Knicks made it to the second round is because you still had to honor Julius while he was on the court.
Yeah.
So since he's not on the court, if the Knicks push it to even they make a 6-game series, for round 1, make it to 6 games, I'm impressed based on this roster right now because we've just seen it through this regular season. It's been up and down. Forget the Miami Heat game. It's very rare to see Brunson not have it, but we've seen nights where where Dante doesn't have it, Hart doesn't have it, McBride doesn't have it, and it's just Brunson out there. And the Brunson show can only take you so far.
True.
Any good player, you can't just even with only LeBron's the only player that you could say by himself he can carry a team to the NBA Finals. How many guys who are even superstars can do such a thing? Not many.
True indeed.
Even them these days fall short in playoff performances. So because they don't have a complete roster supporting them. So if the Knicks, man, can make a game in the first round, that's my expectation at this point. They make it to the second round. That's a great season for everything that's happened.
Salute to the Rhyme Animal Chuck D. $10 super chat. Fanchise channel member as well says tonight was the antidote. Let's go back to Nova College style. The collective. This is why we watch. We are entertained by the effort. Billy Donovan job on the line. We win tomorrow. Bulls may give up on them. Yeah, that's right. They got a back-to-back tomorrow in the Shy. So they went from Miami, came to New York, and now they got to go to Chicago. Probably, like the guy said in the telecast, take the bus to Milwaukee, back to Chicago, and then I think they go to Brooklyn. So, I guess – oh, no, or is that Celtics? No, then they go to Boston, right?
Yeah, Thursday they go to Boston.
Then they go to Boston. So Yeah, it's a tough one. Here was some stuff here from our guy Fred Katz I wanted to read. So to everybody in the chat once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP and Alex on the ones and twos. The number one show for the fans by the fans is cooking. Over 2,000 people in the chat. Do us a favor right now. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. 3 things: like, share, subscribe. If you guys are trying to chat right now, you see the people going crazy in the chat and you can't chat, that means you're not a subscriber. So just hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching on a laptop or a computer or TV, just refresh the video, and then you'll be able to join the Mosh chat, as Chuck D calls it. Okay, this was Thibs' response to the Chris Haynes story. Fred Katz was asking Thibs about it. So Julius told Chris Haynes, who put a story out after he spoke to you before the game, that he had a setback, that he re-injured the shoulder 5 weeks ago. You had said no setback. And here was Thibs' response. He says, I didn't. He says, the thing is, like, he was going through, and this is where we talked about, he was taking contact, but it was control contact. It was with the pads. And so some days he felt better than others. I remember that quote came out, and that was another discouraging thing. It was like some days is better than others. I remember that. That was a couple weeks ago. Here's Thibs again. In the end, he had to trust his gut that he could play and play the way that he plays, which is very physical and aggressive with his shoulder, like we all been saying. So if he can't use his shoulder, then he can't play. He can't change the style of his play. So once he got to the point where he felt like he'd have a good day, then the next day it wouldn't be as good. But he says, at the end of the day, I trust Julius. He's got to trust his body. So he took it as far as he could, and then he went to see some specialists, and he felt that this was the best course of action. So we're going to support him. It's disappointing. Have the surgery, do rehab, blah, 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 blah. Josh just stepped in and played great. So Julius said, what finally caused me to go through with getting the surgery was about 5 weeks ago when I went through full contact session, re-injured my shoulder. And Thibs said, yup. So how do you respond to that, man?
As to what? Like, were we being lied to this entire time?
Right, you're right. I guess the assertion here is that Thibs lied to the media that Julius didn't have a setback, and Thibs' reaction basically is saying, well, some days he was all right, and some days he was set back. But it's all right because the next day you'd be all right, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's going off. I mean, the issue is that you're not talking to him every single day, right? Like, there's times off in between where we're not getting reports, and maybe it was a day that it was off. But at the same time, I don't necessarily find it. I don't think Thibs lied. If anyone, like I said, I'm looking at whoever is the brass that told Woj, saying, he's not going to be out for that long. You know what I mean? That's misleading.
Yeah.
I think at that point, Thibs is, if anyone's talking, because you have to think, right? When it comes to PR and how do you present yourself, coaches, players, they go through this training and saying, hey, this is what you should say. This is what you shouldn't say before you go on. You go talk in front of a mic. And so if that, right, if the plan was we're going to give the perception that Julius is going to be back within X amount of months, right, or this is the time frame that we're going to work off of, go with it, all right? There's some days he's going to be better than others, which is typical for anybody going through any sort of rehab. Some days are better than others. Fine. I don't look at it as lying, though. I think he was trying to. I think he was just trying his best to say this is what Randall's going through. You know, some days we're better than others. Randall obviously had some good days because to get to that point, he had to have good days. It's not just saying, hey, do you feel like going through contact today? No, not really. Oh, hey, let's go try it anyway. Let's see what happens. I don't think that would be medical malpractice right there.
Right.
So I don't think it got to that point. So for Thibs lying, I don't see him as lying in this instance. I think he was being, you know, as transparent as he could be based on what he was given off to work with.
All facts. All facts, man.
What do you think? Do you think he was lying?
No, and quite honestly, what do you expect, man? Like, you're going to cover for your guys. Everything is not just going to be a full open book with the team. You got to let the process play out. So, like, to me, it doesn't even matter. What matters is, can he play or can he not play? We found out today he can't play. So we move forward. It really doesn't matter to me what Thibs said, what he promised, what he didn't promise. Can he play or can he not play? The verdict is he can't. That's it.
Like I just don't know what we wanted Thibs to say.
Right.
Did we want him to say that Julius will not be back this season? That's not even for him to say.
Right.
Unless being directed to. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
he can't tell you what to say. That's for Leon and whoever works in PR and how they want to guide those lines. And so I don't really look at that as a Thibs issue. I look at that as more of a management issue. If you don't like how the team's communicating about injuries, then that's something that has to be discussed with the medical team, PR, and the president of basketball operations.
Yeah.
Not a coach thing.
Now, Thibs did say to, this was on SNY, he did tell Ian Begley or Fred that they were operating under the assumption that they weren't going to have him. And that's what Josh Hart, same thing Josh Hart said, is what Thibs had said. So.
Yeah, but I feel like you should be doing that anyway. Like,
yeah,
the injury was, like there was not a lot of clarity around Julius's injury. So how do you want them to proceed? Saying that we're going to get him back?
Here, I'll play it right now. Here was Thibs. This is pregame. This was Thibs on Julius. Here he is.
Obviously, Julius is going to have surgery now. Just when did you know that it got to this point, and what do you think it means for you guys moving forward?
Well, I think, we knew it was a possibility all along. He did all that he could to try to get back, and he never got to the point where he felt comfortable with it. So it's a tough break for him, but our reality is what our reality is, and that's the one thing that I'm proud of with our team, that is they've shown great fight all year long when guys have gone out. So we were approaching it as if we weren't going to have them, and then if we got them, it would have been a bonus for us. So just keep doing what we're doing.
All right. So there was Thibs' comment on Julius. Now here was Thibs on OG, a bit more encouraging. Here was Thibs on OG status.
What are you, I guess, looking for benchmarks for OG now, with him kind of working?
Well, the one thing is, when he came back the first time, we already got to look at what it will look like. And his game is unique because it's defense, it's rebounding, it's moving without the ball, it's running the floor, and being versatile on offense. But he can fit in seamlessly. I think that'll be fine. Is the one thing about being an elbow injury, he can do the conditioning part of it. So that's the one positive probably that out of all that.
Is he playing 4-on-4, 5-on-5?
Yeah.
5-on-5. So OG's doing 5-on-5. Thibs also saying that they're going to be cautiously optimistic with OG. So we'll see at 6 games left. We'll see if he does make it back before the end of the regular season. Here was Captain Clutch out, Jalen Brunson, on the Randle injury and what it means for the squad going forward. Here he is.
It's obviously kind of a downer start to the day, obviously, for the news about Julius. What was it for, like, you guys coming in tonight and sort of, maybe you were aware that this was going this way, but for the fan base and everyone else, was a bit of a surprise, and how'd you feel the mentality was tonight all the way around the building?
For us as a team, we started very slow and eventually got picked up. And definitely the morale's a little low when one of your guys goes down and he's fighting to come back and just unable to be where he wants to be. So it's definitely sad, but he's our brother, and it's just what it is at this point. So we got to move forward, but we want him to be healthy. That's first and foremost, and that's the most important thing. So it's obviously unfortunate.
All right, so that was Captain Clutch sending some well wishes to Julius Randle, man. Harrison Dolan on the Discord. Harrison, how you feeling, man? Harrison going once. All right, Harrison, probably back out of the Discord and jump back in. Do we got GotToBeLegend on the Discord? Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo, what up, CP? What up, Alex?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, man. Good.
Yo, I got some things I want to air out.
Yeah, let's go.
Yo, what happened with Julius, man? I'm tight about it, and I'll tell you why. Guy said he hurt his shoulder 5 weeks ago, right? How many weeks? What week were we on 5 weeks ago? 5 weeks ago was the week of February 25th. This guy got hurt January 27th. A week and a half after All-Star break, Knicks come back from the break. First game back is on the 22nd. So I'm assuming by around the 20th or the 21st, they're back together, practicing and everything, right? A separated shoulder, bro, takes anywhere between 2 and 12 weeks to heal without surgery.
So we can't go down that path, bro. We don't know, man.
Hold on. It takes anywhere between 2 and 12 weeks. And that's just for a normal person, right? Not for an athlete, right? Why would you put a guy out to go practice after approximately 3 weeks of getting healed, bro? Like, that's crazy when it takes anywhere between normally 2 and 12 weeks for a normal person, bro.
I can't answer that, man. I can't answer that.
I know. That's a rhetorical question. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pointing it out.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. That's crazy. Why would you do that if the idea is to make sure that this guy gets back healthy? Why would you rush him back if that's the case? Right?
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, the issue with OG. OG has a lingering elbow problem from what we could tell. Right? Everyone wants him back because they want to make a playoff run. Right? Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Why would we want to rush this guy to get back? Bro, what do they say? They're cautiously optimistic. How would you feel if somebody said, yo, I'm cautiously optimistic about this? Are you going to be confident about that or not?
Well,
no, you're not.
Well, no, I don't necessarily think so. I just think they saw that he re-injured himself when he tried to come back. So now they don't want to, hasten the process.
Okay, perfect. So being as it may, right?
Yeah.
Why would we want to rush him back to make a playoff run if we can potentially risk having him get hurt even further? Because that's what happened to Julius. He even said in the interview with Chris Haynes that the doctors told him that if he continued, he can cause permanent damage.
Yeah.
So why would we want to risk that with OG going into the fact that
but we don't have a time. They didn't give us a timetable for him though.
Right, but obviously they said that they're okay with him missing the rest of the regular season for the playoffs.
Right.
So then why would we want to do this if it could cause, more issues going into a contract year that we want to secure this guy because OG is that guy. We need him on this team. Why do we want to rush this if it could cause further issues down the line?
Because there is no down the line in sports, man.
Right, but
it's money time, man.
Because we think that the time is now, but we're rushing people to get hurt.
Fam, this is not daycare, bro. This is a multi-billion-dollar sport. You gotta produce and perform. That means if you gotta play through a little bit of pain, you're gonna have to do that.
But he's not gonna play through a little bit of pain because he's up to him to make the decision. I'm not ready.
Yeah, but we gotta see what's up, man. We got to see what's up, man. We don't know. We don't know, man. And appreciate the call, man. We just don't know, Al. You know what I mean? But to say, why not just put him on ice till next year? There might not be a next year for him. It's now or never.
Yeah, unfortunately, in the world of sports, things move very quick. I mean, we've seen teams that thought they had a window, and then next thing they know, they busted it into flame. I mean, perfect example, the Atlanta Hawks make an Eastern Conference Finals appearance, and they've been progressively getting worse every single year. Now you have rumors of Trae Young going out to San Antonio. So the thing is that teams try – or Lakers.
Yeah.
But the thing is that teams try to take advantage of whatever good they have. And so they wanted to see if Randall could get back and if OG could get back because they saw January. You went 14-2, and you're like, we look dominant. We beat the Timberwolves. We beat the Nuggets. We were just beating teams defensively and offensively. They could not keep up with us. We had everyone talking about Knicks and Celtics potentially being an Eastern Conference Finals matchup.
Yeah.
Right? Of course, if you're a team, you're going to try to do that and get it back. But the thing is that the difference is, I can understand saying, why will you rush? Because I get the first point, right? If it takes an average person for that time frame, why even have Randle rush back within not even the minimum of that time frame? I get that part. For OG, it's not the same thing though. Like him being able to come back, they're cautiously optimistic. The way they've been treating OG though is just, I think they're being more cautious and more conservative with his process just because he did come back. He aggravated himself. Well, he didn't injure, he just aggravated it.
Yeah.
And that's just dealing with pain tolerance from what they've made it seem. And so that's what his issue is. It's not necessarily that he broke something, he tore anything. His is just coming down to pain tolerance. So if he's ready, and I think it was also a nerve that they mentioned in that thing. So in that breakdown. So if that is the case, totally different than separating your shoulder, tearing a ligament, breaking a bone. Like it ain't the same thing. So with OG, I understand why they would bring him back, because he came back even with an aggravated elbow. He was still able to play effectively, not fully, but effectively enough where he still made an impact on defense and cutting. I mean, he was still dunking, right? If it was so bad, he would not be dunking with two hands. So I get the OG thing. But Randle, look, you're going to try to see if he can come back. I get the question, though. It's a fair question. Why try to rush him back to do things within time frame, even that it takes for an average person? But they're going to just try, man. That's what they're going to do at the end of the day.
I can't comment on these medicals, man. I just don't. From the time he got injured to now,
You're not a doctor.
We don't know enough. We're not there. We don't know what the extent of the injury. We don't know what the plan of action was. They're not fully transparent.
I thought you got your MD from Google.
I have to put trust in what a billion-dollar company will put into their medical staff. Yes, in some cases you have mismanagement by teams. Nobody's perfect. But I got to put faith in the professionals. He went to consultation. You get second opinions in sports. This guy said this guy said that. They made a plan, and it didn't work. There was a chance that it wasn't going to work, and it did not work.
I mean, surgery was never ruled out.
It was never ruled out. So for me to question, well, why didn't they do this? Why didn't it doesn't even matter to me, bro. It's either he's ready or he's not ready, and he's not ready. So go get the surgery. And if he's going to miss the first month or two of the season, so be it. It's a long season. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. If he comes back and he's himself, they'll be all right. And maybe, hey, missing the opening couple months of the season might be better for him if he can make it to the end.
I just said. Yeah, like I just said, have him come back halfway. So that way he's not exhausted by 3/4 of the season.
Yeah. I can't question it, man. They had to know what they were doing. It didn't work. Harrison Dolan. Harrison, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, can you hear me this time?
Yep, loud and clear.
All right. How you doing, CP Alex?
Good, man. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, let this be a lesson to us about these media injury updates. Remember in February when they said it would be weeks and not months? It turned into more months than ever. And, but good win tonight. Brunson, Ante, everybody stepped up. And in the absence of Julius, that's really, really important, man. Regarding next season, man, I think it's important to remember that even though there are a lot of what ifs right now, this team got a lot better this season, and we're primed to do really well next season if we play our cards right. I would want to bring it back. I think re-signing OG and Hart is more important than trying to get a big star in here.
What are you talking off-season moves?
Hey, man, I'm not saying the season's. I'm not saying the season's over. In fact, I'm excited for the playoffs, and I think with OG we could still make the conference finals. But I'm trying to preach a little optimism and patience, but maybe it's not my night. But I'm going to be out there in Chicago tomorrow, man.
I got to tell you, man. And you travel. Yeah. You travel all over the place to see the team. You're a diehard of diehards, and you're already talking off-season, man. Come on, man. Didn't you hear the opening monologue? I had the people on their feet, man. It's not time to bail, bro.
You're right. The thing is, it was already a long shot for us to win the title, even more so with Julius. I'm looking at it like our championship window is just opening, and it's not certain, but if we play our cards right, then, I think we'll be set up for long-term success.
Okay.
But I ride or die with the team no matter what the record is, man. You know that.
Yeah, of course. Nah, I'm just messing with you, man. Call back anytime, man.
Hey, bro. Thank you. Have a
Yes,
good
sir.
night.
It's Harrison Dolan on the Discord out. I had to give him a little hard time. You know what I'm saying? Pause. Yeah.
Hey, yo.
Yeah. Shout out my guy, man.
Look, I get the whole offseason moves, and I mean, it's a natural thought process too, especially when you lose an all-star, right? Because you're thinking like, I get it. Even I could be guilty of saying I'm looking ahead a little bit because I can't wait for next season because I really want to know this entire team healthy. What does it look like, man?
Yeah.
I just want to know. But at the end of the day, we also got to stay in the present, and this team's still fighting for something. This team is still fighting. They're still competing. Man. They just beat the Kings, being down 20+ points.
Yeah, it was a big win.
A team that's competing out in a tough Western Conference, and this team's still looking good. So, is it great? No, but they're still performing, man. And if anything, the way you can look at this season now is, like I said, you can talk about saying, let's watch them, see if they can play spoiler. 2, let's see who can step up to the challenge. Postseason.
Listen, man.
Which of these role players can step up? Because I think that's going to answer a lot of questions for next year, too. Right? We saw Josh Hart step up round 1 of the playoffs against the Cavs last year, dwindle the second round against the Heat because they figured out how to play him. So let's see, can Dante step up? What about McBride? Does McBride become a guy that you're saying, hey, we got to keep this guy as a 6-man for next season? Your guy Burks. Does Burks show up? It is now April, CP. You said give it to April.
He's cooked, man. Forget about him. Don't worry. He's not coming along for that. Don't worry about him.
But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, like, you still get to see who on this roster can step up to the challenge and who you could potentially keep. And who knows, if you really want to think off season, if someone performs well, they could be trade bait.
Boy, oh boy. I mean, it was so depressing today, man. I mean, fans were panicked. I had people say, I'm back in the window. Season's over.
I
said, damn. These Knicks fans are so spoiled. The little adversity, back against the wall, and everybody's ready to jump ship. Yeah, ready to leave the stadium early when the game's not over yet. That's the equivalent.
Never.
Some of them same people. CP, I wonder if anybody left the Garden today when they was down 20 in the first half.
But CP, I mean, not everyone could be as blessed as you to be on the South Beach, enjoying the beach, enjoying some nice weather. We're out here. It's damn near monsooning outside my house. I'm seeing rain. I walked outside. There was hail.
Yeah, it hadn't stopped raining in New York since I left.
You come back, and now the weather stinks.
I came back. No, it was good. It's good now. It was good now here down in New York. Yeah, it was a sunny day when I got
up here,
back.
so thanks for nothing.
But it hadn't stopped raining, so yeah, I wasn't too mad about that, man. But at the bottom line, man, keep the faith, man. Keep the faith. Pudge Forever says we got PTSD. Trust me, I know. I know, man.
You're the number one guy with PTSD.
It gets the best of me, but you don't see me panicking. I'm here.
I'm a little concerned now.
We're just getting started, man.
Now I'm concerned.
We just getting started. 2 weeks away from the postseason. We have no idea what the team is going to look like. This is cardiac Knicks. This is what we live for, man.
No.
This is the
what
energy.
You live for. That's what you live for. Don't put me into this.
This is the energy, man.
I was happy in January.
Yeah, I'm talking about sign this guy. I mean, I'm ready for all that, man. Get with the postseason. Well, we get that 4-5 matchup with the Magic, or you get back with the Miami Heat, or you go see Cleveland. Don't leave just yet. Don't turn that dial. Isn't that what they used to say? Don't change the channel, man. We still
don't change the channel. Don't turn the dial. Yep. Yeah, you're really showing your age, CP. I'm sure you were watching TVs with tubes and wires. I'm sure your house is still wired with tubes.
Oh man, those are some tough days, man.
You still using fuses?
So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for your boy CP and Alex on the 1s and 2s. Call us up on the Discord, man. Let us know how you guys are feeling. We just heard from Harrison Dolan. Let's get Cody Glock in here. Cody Glock, go ahead and unmute your mic when you hear us, man. Cody Glock.
I'm in the place.
You live and direct, sir. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man, yo, man. Shout out Mixon, shout out the ball trimming. No Diddy. Yo, this injury thing is stressful, man. But I'm happy I know that Julius is not coming back, so now I could set more realistic expectations for the team now, bro. Like I could breathe now, man. Like last 2 games, I was in pure Sheldon mode. I was like, man, if this is the case, this current Knicks lineup has to look themselves in the mirror, and someone has to step up other than JB, because J-Dub from the Thunders waxed the Knicks. No Diddy. He took the Knicks to the mansion. No Diddy. Like, yo, bro, like, no, the exact player I was looking to step up and stretch their role was Josh Hart.
Yeah.
This is the most aggressive I've seen him in a regular season game for the Knicks. The hustle buckets and fast break buckets come by pure heart and hustle, no pun intended. You feel me?
Yep.
Josh Hart is the X factor right now that Julius is gone. If he continues to play aggressively, offensively, we can have a good run. I didn't want to bring this up, but MIA might have been the last time we seen Julius in the Knick jersey, man. We could never... Like, you feel me? Like, we could never have him 100% in the playoffs, and I'm not patient with the man anymore, bro. Knicks got some decisions to make, but I ain't gonna harbor on that too long, man.
Yeah,
like,
you know, you might catch tomatoes in the chat, man.
Man, I could catch all the produce. I can, like, yo, bro. The numbers don't lie, man. Like, it's been year after year after year, man. We can't see Julius, bro. Come on, bro. Like, and let me tell you something about Michi, because his sister.
I knew that was next, because even Mitchie's back. Mitchie made it back, man.
Cesarle Misty SSS no snitchy, man. He's not, you know, he sit down the 1-2 games, you know, so he could get his ankle better, but he's not like these players, man. He wants to play. He wants to get in there. You see, Sabonis had a hard time tonight, bro. He couldn't take it. He couldn't take a break.
Yeah.
You know, Paul, no diddler. He couldn't take a break, bro. Like, yeah, I hard on him doing his best Charmander impression. You know, it was Charmeleon versus Charmander tonight. And he was putting in work, bro. And then Mitch came to guard him. He couldn't have a break, bro. He couldn't do his thing. And I loves to see the Knicks like that. That's why I'm not really like phased by no Julius, bro. Like, yo, man, shout out Nicky Pipes, man. Shout out CP Free Throws, man. Shout out REP, man. I see you. Shout out Alex. Shout out Perry Saturn. Shout out Raven Leather Jacket from WCW. I'm out, man.
My man threw the Perry Saturn shout out there. Salute. That's an OG right there. Cody Glock knows his history, man. Great call, man. Rate that call in the chat. I'm being trash 5 being facts. I'm going to give him a 5 just off of the Perry Saturn reference.
No diddler.
No diddler. Shout out to Cody Glock, man. Call back anytime. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for your boys, CP and Alex, on the 1s and 2s. Knicks
CP,
win,
got a
man.
super chat.
Hang on. Hang on. We're getting 5s in the chat for Cody Glock. Congratulations to Cody. Congratulations there, man. I'm dropping him off. I thought he had something to say. Postscript. Okay, so we do have a super chat. All right, let me just take a look here. See who it is. Who could it possibly be? Oh, here we go. Let me hit the music. $20 super chat from one Robert Randolph, Mr. Friday Night Knicks. At 11:56 on a Thursday, right on time. He's on time tonight. He says next season will be the Knicks title season. With these 2 new players, DeRozan and blank, the Knicks are going to be dangerous for the next 5 years. Sergeant Sources, ladies and gentlemen, crashing the party. with some breaking news.
We saw you at the game tonight, Robert. Standing up.
Oh, was he? Was he in the mix? Where was he at?
Yeah, he was sitting. Sitting baseline as usual.
Is it in his usual baseline seats next to Mr. Dolan? Because Dolan was there tonight.
Yes, he was there.
What was that? What was that conversation about?
Ain't about no trades, I can tell you that.
It was the beginning of the audit of the Knicks medical staff.
Yes. Can you imagine? Hey, Robert, do you want to join the medical staff?
Yeah. Sergeant Sources and Dolan cooking up. Or is it an album on the way?
Or is he giving Robert the new PR job?
Could be. Oh, man. Aggravated man. What happened to April 12th? What happened to April 12th? Shout out to Sergeant Sources, man.
He did say they'd be back by April 12th. He did say they did say back against the Brooklyn Nets.
He did. Shout out to him, man.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Tough one for the Sarge. Tough one for the Sarge, man. Al, let's take a look at the key stats of the night, man. Brought to you guys by Underdog Fantasy. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com and use our code KFTV for a first-time deposit match of up to $100, man. As we take a look at the team stats here, Al, hang on. Let me just get my team stats up here ready. Hot shooting night for both teams. I mean, the Kings shot 65% from the field in the half. Ended up completing the game at 48%. Knicks 55% from the field. 42.9% for both teams from three. Knicks 12 of 28. Kings 18 of 42. Both teams woeful from the charity stripe. 7 of 12 for the Kings. 20 of 29 attempts. I mean, we were crying about fouls tonight. We got 29 attempts tonight. Knicks did win the rebounding battle, 39-35. 34-26, they won the assist battle. Shots were falling. Got some efficient offense out there from the Knicks tonight. Great job by them. This was one of the key stats of the night for me, Al, was the 16 Kings turnovers, which led to 26 Knicks points. Very opportunistic Knicks defense. 19 fast break points for the Knicks, which was great. They were able to turn up the Jets, especially in the second half, which was great because the Kings defense was very aggressive in the half court. 60-40, Knicks dominated points in the paint. That's where you want to see them operating. Get a nice balance of offense. And great job. Largest lead for the Kings, 21. Largest for the Knicks, 16.
Let's go. 60 points in the paint to the Kings 40 is huge just because they took advantage of a Kings defense that's not good at protecting the paint. Sabonis being a solid center, but undersized really gives an opportunity for Hartenstein to work the boards. And then, as we said, CP, the way that they were just guarding Brunson tonight, the fact that you're going to double him, it just opens up the lane for guys like Josh Hart to go attack. And just that's how he got 31 points tonight. So that's where you see those points in the paint. The one that's really interesting, though, is that the Knicks really lost the second chance opportunities. Even without Julius, they've been pretty solid in that department. 17-9 is huge. Which I don't know if this is like a sign to be a little concerned about moving forward, but the fact that the Kings got 17-9, I mean, it tells me that even though the Knicks were getting rebounds, they weren't getting enough good looks and a lot of open look opportunities to get easy shots. So even though they were moving the ball around well, you like to see that number a little bit more close to being even than being so lopsided than it was tonight.
True indeed, man. Once again, the key stats tonight is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, man. Go to Underdog Fantasy, use our code KFTV, and for an instant deposit match of up to $100. Now, earlier today, shout out to JD Sports Talk on the play-by-play, who won some money there on the pick'ems, because Underdog Fantasy, the way that it works on the pick'em side is you pick between 2 to 5 players and predict whether or not those players are going to go higher or lower than a given stat projection that Underdog Fantasy has for that night, and you have a chance to win up to 20 times your money. So good job by JD there. But we also do the KFTV Fantasy Draft, which we did today between Alex, JD, and myself. And I'm just looking at tonight's slate to see how we did. And how do we do, Al? I'm trying to pull the score up. Hang on.
Let's see.
Hang on. And so far in the lead is JD Sports Talk, Al. So far in the lead with 284 fantasy points, 1 quarter remaining. He had Tyrese Maxey, De'Aaron Fox, Nikola Jokic, Fred VanVleet, Stephen Curry, and DeJounte Murray. Who had the first number 1 pick in this one? JD did?
I think he did, yeah.
He did. So Tyrese Maxey had a big fantasy night, man. 37 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. That's 69 fantasy points. De'Aaron Fox killed the Knicks, 29 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals for a swiper tonight, and a block. That's 59 fantasy points. So those were his heavy hitters. Had Jokic with a normal night, 24 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists. That's 47 fantasy points. So those are his big 3. You were in second place with 238 with 1 quarter left. You had Brunson, 59 fantasy points, 35 points for Brunson, 11 assists, and 3 steals. Great job there. And then you had Luka, 55 fantasy points, 25 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, and a block. So that's a nice fantasy night for Luka Doncic. You also had Jalen Johnson, Paul George, Jabari Smith Jr., and Jalen Green. Now, Team Fanchise, I did pick up the process. Joel Embiid on his first night back.
How'd that work out for you?
29 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 43 fantasy points. Who else? I had Sabonis, 17, 11, 7 assists. That's only 39 fantasy points, though. I didn't have enough defense out there tonight. Bam, I was hoping Bam would have delivered there. 14, 11, 3 assists, no steals, and only 1 block for Bam. So I wasn't able to pick up those points on the defensive side, which is where you could really rack up in fantasy. I had Kyrie, too. So, yeah. So it wasn't the best night for Team Fanchise with 0 quarters remaining. But
I'll teach you the way, CP. It's okay. I won 5. I won 5 out of the last 7. It'll be now 5 out of the last 8. But I'll teach you how to draft.
You won 5 out of the last 7 drafts?
Now it'll be 5 out of the last 8. Yes, that's correct.
Wow. You won 5 out of the last 8 drafts?
Yes, sir.
Damn. Kind of snuck up on us, man. It's good job.
Appreciate it.
Good job, man. 5 out of the last 8 drafts. Damn.
Yeah, lunch has been pretty nice.
I was about to say, man, what are you eating out there? You must be eating good out there, man.
Hey, man, those buffalo chicken wraps are tasting mighty fine with some plantain chips.
About to say, man, yeah, you eating good out there. Congratulations.
I would like to thank you and JD for the donations.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime, man. Anytime. Okay, what else? Oh, something else I really liked, man. I really like this segment of the game, and that is the return of Stephon Marbury to Madison Square Garden. Man, I put a tweet out there last month. I said, they had on NBA TV they did this segment, and they're giving Jamal Crawford a lot of opportunities to create content, which I like. And they had him do a segment on one-on-one with Steph. So it was a great segment, man, because, he's giving him his flowers. And after I saw that, man, because those are two of my guys, two of my favorite Knicks. And I just felt like Steph needs his flowers more. We're in this era now where we want to clown on people and embarrass people and really forget about how nasty of a basketball player they were. Stephon Marbury's right up there on the list. Yes, it didn't come with a lot of winning during this era. But if you're talking about from watching the game, you have to put some respect on this man's game. And they gave him a standing ovation at the Garden. I thought that was an excellent gesture by James Dolan and the people, man.
Hey, it was a dark time, but it was entertaining during that time period.
Yeah.
He certainly put on a show, one of the most best scorers to come through wearing the orange and blue jersey. So Marbury definitely needs his respect, man. You just wish things were better at that time. I mean, the roster construction was just up and down, but even with some questionable decision making during that time, Steph was always putting on a show and trying his best out there.
Welcome home, Stephon Marbury, man. That's all I can say, man. Welcome home, Stephon Marbury. Great job by Jimmy D and those guys. Everybody's welcome back at the Garden at some point. Hey, we never thought we'd see Sprewell back. He's on the payroll. You know, Steph is back in the building. Hey, maybe Oak. Maybe.
I was about to say you'll get an Oak being the next guy.
Maybe Oak. One day, man. One day. So
who knows? Maybe I don't know if he still has them, but maybe get a deal back, and then maybe you can run some car wash ads through MSG Network.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out to Oakley's Car Wash, man. What else we got here? Any other sound bites we wanna? JB's good to feed off the energy. This is like cliche stuff. He's our brother when I'm healthy. Okay, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. So, great show, great bounce back win by the Orange and Blue. We'll live to see another day, man. Let's see. Let's check it out here. 6 games left. Check out the schedule. Knicks will be in Chicago tomorrow, at Milwaukee on Sunday, then back in Chicago on Tuesday, at Boston Thursday, back-to-back home against the Nets on Friday, and then finish off against the Bulls, people. The final 6. We are in the home stretch. 5th seed, yeah, they tied with the Magic tonight, but you still can't pass them until you legitimately win one and they lose because they own the tiebreaker. But
6 games left.
6 games left, man. 6 games left, my G.
Holy cow.
That's it. That is it. But great show. Great to be back. Shout out to everybody that all my South Beach people, Miami people. Great job on Tuesday. And yeah, man, we're keeping it rocking as we move into this Friday. Let me make sure I catch up on all the super chats. Shout out to Armin Dutter. Shout out to Fugazi. He says, I still believe, never give up mentality. J Tang, $5 super chat says, shootout Knicks, huge win. It was nice to meet you, Miami CP. Let's get this 4th seed. Salute, man. Shout out to Rhyme Animal Chuck D. Cool Vids, man, $5 super chat says, Thibs finally makes an adjustment to the incoming double teams in the second half, and look what happens. Bravo, Thibs, bravo. Jay Oliver, salute. Iris Cox, $5 super chat. We can beat any team. Teamwork makes the dream work. Anything's possible with any team. Marvin Nicholas, salute again. Daily Show, appreciate you again. Harlem's Alfredo, Fanchise channel member, says those losses to Orlando are going to come back and bite us. Probably, yeah. Yep. G Mark says, hi, Alex CP. Who goes to the Pine when OG is back? McBride? Yeah, I would say that's most likely. You don't going with 3 guards, 3 short guards is not necessarily
come
ideal.
Off the bench, yeah, McBride would be better.
Yeah, McBride off the bench. 66 Kimball, salute. Panatha for life says Dr. Phillips entered the chat. I think he's going at Gotta Be Legend. Kenny Gale says none of us are doctors. Enough of the Google time frames. Omni-Cs are part of sports. Injuries? Oh, injuries must be spelling error. Injuries are part of sports. It sucks. It happens, and they get paid millions. Panatha for life also $20 super chat says, what is everyone doing this weekend? I need to work out both Saturday and Sunday. I have to somewhere around the corner. I love going to Greenport. All right, so if anybody wants to work out with Panatha for life in Greenport, go ahead and hit him up. Maybe link up in the Discord or something. See what's going on. 7 Snapped, $5 super chat says, if they're not there for the ride, they better not be there when we park. We're gonna be good, Knicks fam. Keep the faith. We've been through way worse. Let's go, man. What a day.
Hey, I'm ready.
What a day, man. Yeah. Man.
What, you don't like breaking news at an airport while you're boarding a plane, CP? Are you telling me that's not the ideal conditions for you?
Sure. Listen, man, we ready at all times, man. I even had live callers. I even had live callers on the show, man. You
had live callers on the show?
Yeah, my man's, I don't even know his name, but I run into him everywhere. And we were in the commercial. He was at the commercial with us when we shot the season opener commercial. So him and his pops are season ticket holders. They sit right behind the opponent's bench. You'll see them on MSG every game. You'll see the 2 of them right there in the corner. So they were on my flight, coincidentally. So I'm chopping it up with them. Go grab a water. Next thing I know, I get to the gate, and my man's on the phone. He's like, yeah, Randall's out. I was like, wait, what? I didn't even check my phone. He's like, yeah, Randall's out. I looked, boom, the Woes bomb had just dropped like a minute ago. Emergency live, man. Emergency live.
How'd you take calls? Through the Discord?
No, the two of them. I had the two of them.
Oh.
I gave him a little, what's the name where you call it in from? Like literally right behind me. So I said, hey, got the job done. We got caller reactions, you know? And that was that, man. then they took off to first class and left me with the common folk. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they took off to first class. I was in the back. Yeah.
Oh, all the way. Oh,
yeah, I had one of the worst seats in the house, bro. I was in a sardine can back there. I was going crazy.
Were you up against the wall?
I was going crazy, man. I was going crazy by the end of that flight, man.
Sheesh.
But that's another story for another day. I'm back home, made it back safe. Well, yeah, it was one of those, man. I forgot to pick my seat. Ended up with one of the worst in the house, but made it home safe, man. That's all that matters, bro. Yeah.
See, this is why you got to travel with the Knicks chick, because you know you're going to get the best seats.
Yeah, that's it. I asked the homie and his pops, I said, oh, where y'all sitting? And they said, oh, row 1. I said, oh, I guess I'll be seeing you then. I'm in the back with the regulars. Boy. I'm in the back with the screaming babies. Yeah,
People
man.
bringing the multiple bags of food, trying to sneak the food back there.
The D plane took like 30 minutes. I was going crazy, bro. And then they turned the plane off, so then there's no AC. Ooh. But I'm decked out. I'm not in Florida again. I'm in New York here. So I'm starting to heat up.
Yikes.
I was losing it, bro. I was losing it. But yeah.
But now you're back home. You're in the studio.
Back in the building.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
You got nice weather, so good for you.
There we go.
You missed all. Did you even catch any of the rain that happened here in New York, or in the Northeast, I should say?
When I was leaving Tuesday morning.
God. This guy.
I said, "See ya." 3 hours later, it was in sunny Florida, and away we go. You know,
this guy.
And away we go, man.
Yeah. Let me take a quick business trip / a little mini vacay. Chill poolside for a quick second.
It was a lot of love, man. It was a lot of love in Florida, man. Shout out to the homie Juan for sure. But yeah, man, great show, Al. Great show, all the mods. Great show, Chuck D, man. Great show, JD. All the producers. Great job by everybody. Just springing into action and making it happen, man. That's what we do. Number one show for the fans by the fans. Remember that the show's available in audio podcast format. No reason to miss it. And we right back tomorrow, man. Knicks versus Bulls. So let's get back to the winning side of things, man. Great win tonight by the Orange and Blue. Keep the faith. It ain't over. We out of here. Peace.
CP goes live from Spirit Airlines tomorrow.